Hello. Welcome. How's it going? Hello. Yeah, this is way earlier than usual. But this is when I usually stream on Saturday. I just didn't last Saturday because I didn't want to run into Didi's stream. I thought that would be rude. Thank you so much, Mixquaddle. I appreciate it. The grind from 0 for the 4th time. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think I would enjoy that much either. Hello, everyone. Today we are hopefully actually gonna get through chapter 2 instead of doing chapter 1.5. I'll be able to finish I will be able to finish Ordeal Call 3 at some points. Don't worry. I'll do extra streams if I have to in order to make sure that I finish it, but I will finish it. Aw, Lich. Good luck. I hope you find them. Have a good one, Alt. You've missed the last few of these streams. There's only been 2. If you saw the first one, you're probably fine. Visual novels and extreme sports. So what, am I reading the visual novel on like a BMX or something? I have very poor reflexes. I don't think I'd be able to do extreme sports baseline, let alone do that with the distraction at the same time. It's an interesting idea though. I bet someone will be able to do it. And at work with no earbuds? Whoa. I will be exposed to the world. Also, hello, Apollo. Welcome. But yeah, we're reading, and hopefully we get a good chunk of the way through. That's our goal. So just chill out, and we'll see how it goes. Yippee. It's spoilers for you anyway, fair enough. Pull the parachute once you finish the chapter. I'm way too afraid of heights. You have no idea how afraid of heights I am. I could not do that. That's like the least thing that I could ever possibly do, is parachute. Am I gonna romance all the girls? I don't know. I don't know when the romancing options comes up. I guess so. Although I don't really know. I'm not really a character. I'm kind of like a disembodied entity. Anyway, back to reading. The city is really strange, but a pretty easy place to live once you get the hang of it. Sojiro sighed listlessly. He looked down at the winter schoolyard below, lost in thought. December was written on the corner of the chalkboard. He could not believe 10 days had already passed since he transferred to the school. The last vestiges of autumn had faded with the change of the month. The trees were all but barren, and the ground below them a mat of fallen leaves. Fallen leaves. Their art routes. That's what I've heard. I do know there's different endings, but yeah. Romance the food. Fourth period was classics. An elderly teacher stood at the lectern and rambled on. It's just like me. While he had finally gotten used to the classroom, he still had a long way to go to get up to speed in his classes. Lacking even the only romance option is with chat. Are you gonna romance amongst yourselves? I won't stop you. Have fun. Lacking even the basic understanding most students learn in their early scholastic life, it was a battle for Sojiro to keep up. Have a good one, Onyx. Even if he was unable to grasp all of the content right away, he at least tried to memorize everything in the hope that he could make use of it down the road. YouTube can romance Twitch? I don't know, man. Twitch is pretty touchy. You can try. Twitch is very tsundere. Which is why losing himself in his thoughts was about the last thing he should have been doing. He would normally chastise himself for daydreaming, but... Troublingly, he was unable to concentrate in class today. Sojiro could not place the source of his wait. Oh, okay. I realize how this sentence is supposed to be read. Sojiro could not place the source of his lack of concentration. It could have been the winter in the city. It was much milder than in the mountains. Neither was his part-time job particularly tiring. He was not any more physically fatigued than the average student, so that could not be it either. I have a great Holy Grail warrior. I still have to figure out how to do that, because that's a really funny idea to do. Others might conclude that it was because the courses were boring, but that seemed off the mark too. Sojiro did not share his classmates' opinion about their classes. On the contrary, he rather enjoyed his class time. OBS just nuked itself. Yeah, it like reset everything. It was very weird. It's a good thing I'm used to it, because I did like log back into everything and like reset all my frames and stuff. It was pain. It was fine though. No, his frame of mind was not to blame either. Trying to figure out what was wrong only made him more depressed. What's wrong with me? It's not like me to be so distracted. This shadow kind of looks like me. If my beanie was a lot more pointy. Right? That's kind of funny. I'm so big. I'm not used to this. He scolded himself and turned his attention to the chalkboard. The rhythmic ticks of the chalk were sending him into a slumber, but he somehow managed to resist their lullaby. And yet he was still unable to focus on the class. Ugh. Sojiro reflected silently, as was his custom, and sighed inwardly. Yeah, the welfare from FGO. Deep down, he knew the real source of his agitation. The events of the previous night were the only thing it could be. I'm floating a little bit. There you go. With a chime to signal the end of class, the teacher bowed and exited into the hallway. To see him off, the 30 or so students all stood up from their desks. The clock, which had seemed to slow dramatically around 11:30, now struck noon. The tension seemed to fade from the room all at once. Hi, Shinji. The release from a difficult lesson was the start of lunchtime, the highlight of school life. Misaki High's cafeteria was not particularly well known for its quality of food. Yes, Sonaji. Complaints that this quality was below that of a private school went unheeded. And the same unique flavors appeared on the menu each and every day. Private school prices coupled with subpar quality led the majority of students to opt for boxed lunches instead. Sojiro's Class 2C was no exception. The boys muscled as many as 10 desks into what resembled a long dining table. Sojiro Shizuki is his actual name. Hey, Ryu. Conversely, the girls divided themselves into smaller tables of 2 or 3 desks with practiced ease and started chatting within their cliques. Not a single student wasted even a second of their precious lunchtime. Where both sides differed in method, they shared a common goal. Dot dot dot. Sojiro was struck dumb by the efficiency of the transformation. Even after 10 days, he was unable to keep pace with the rest of the class and remained seated where he had sat during the previous period. Hey, Shizuki, over here. The voice came from the large makeshift dining table near the window. Hosuke? Hosuke. Kinomi. I don't know. I was beckoning over while leaning back in his chair in a way that looked like he could fall backward at any second. He was regularly shot down by others in the class for being lazy and crass, but his earnest nature kept him from getting on anyone's bad side. We kind of already met him because we did the 1.5 chapter. Though something could be said for not being so forthcoming all the time too. Time's a wasting. Let's eat. I've got a bunch of leftover spring rolls from yesterday, but when my dad saw him, he told me I shouldn't waste them, so that's the only thing I've got. Posuke. Hi, Stargazer. That's how he looks in game. His sprite is so different from what? Well, don't forget, in the FGO event is a time skip. So he looks he's like, I don't remember how much older he is. He's like 5 to 10 years older, right? Release Her Dad's Part 2 with the movie premiere? Maybe. I don't know. It seemed his endgame was to find someone who might take pity on him and trade for him for something better. It's a decade. Okay, I thought it was pretty far into the future. The two of them worked at the same restaurant, so he's one of the few people Sojiro knew before starting school. He was also the reason Sojiro was able to learn the true meaning of the phrase, can't live with them, can't live without them. That felt like such a mechanical way to read that. Yeah, Shizuki, get your butt over here. It's the long-awaited canned food festival today. So we're really going through with this? We're absolutely sure we want to do this? You bet your ass we are. Sure, this stuff is processed to hell, but all the canned crap you can eat, that ain't no sardines in a can, dude. You for real? And hell yeah, count me in. Is there enough corned beef for everyone, or is it first come, first served? That's not something you can eat a ton of, you know. Only the first can tastes any good. I'm blocking a very good expression. I'll just sit here in the middle. With Shizuki on board, we've got an even 7 cans apiece. What a lifesaver. Why are they eating like homeless people? So what's up with your lunch, Kinomi? It looks harder than the cans. The boys usually pass the time by making fun of each other's crying. But today they were united against a common foe. A pyramid of countless cans stood in the middle of the table. They'd all been taken from the pantry of a certain student's house, and the expiration dates on them had all been scribbled out with a marker. Alright lads, everyone got your can openers? Eating them sucks. No one likes leftovers, but these metal demons must be slain at all costs, even if it means missing 5th period. Dude. Guys are so cool. Just like, yo, we need to get rid of this food. Do you mind all getting food poisoning with me? That's pretty base. Oh, and a special thanks to our sponsors, Downtown McCoy and Nakayama Market. Yeah, baby. Let's see. The boys united as one and hoisted their can openers into the air. Eat up, Shizuki. There's enough can openers to go around. I thought I told you yesterday that I'm not interested in being your taste tester. And besides, at least half of those cans are past their expiration date. Ah, oh, come on, live a little. Quite an inexplicably excited group of guys. Their real motivation seemed to be to spread the pain. But moved by their energy and conceding defeat, Sojiro got up from his seat and joined them. And before he could, hey, give it a rest, why don't you? Forget them, Shizuki, come eat with us. Another interested party joined the fray. A girl with short but stylish hair had called out to him. She'd also tried to get Sojiro to join the track and field club several days earlier. Thanks for the offer, but I'd rather not. Oh, hey Sinbad. Thank you for the membership. Welcome back. Also, welcome back to you, Onyx. He answered with a troubled look on his face. On their table was nothing but a pile of fruits Sojiro had never seen before. Why does no one in this school have normal ass? Why does no one have normal lunches? Why does everyone only eat piles of random food? I hate bro. What? Why? You don't like papayas? We've got mango and coconut if you want something else. And don't tell anyone, but we've even got a Yubari melon. The members of the fruit group pumped their fists in unison at that last delicacy. Wait, coconuts? Can you even eat those? I'd like a mango if you have any extra. Idiots. Meat. Eat anything else is just gonna make you weak. Sojiro couldn't keep track of all the voices flying across the room. All I know is nothing good will come out of either of these choices. Isn't that how school lunches are? Not in my experience. Maybe I'm crazy. Yo, Lily. Thank you so much. Wait, did you hit? You hit someone named Your Proxy Silverwolf and also someone named Fate the Archer. You're getting everybody that plays a character. That's so funny. A lot of fruits are important. Well, I know that. It's just interesting that one table is like, hey, we're only gonna eat canned food, and another table is like, we're only gonna eat fruits. It's just, it's a choice. But yeah, thank you so much, Lily. All I know is that nothing good will come out of either of these choices. That being said, he found it difficult to refuse them outright. Who am I? You're Firefly Penna? You're you. And that's what makes you great. His tendency to accept others' goodwill at face value occasionally left him frozen with indecision. Not accustomed to regular human interaction, he was unable to judge when it was or was not appropriate to turn someone down. Someone tapped the lost little lamb on the shoulder. Don't mind them. If you get involved with every idiot who invites you to do something, you'll mess up your whole life. It's okay to turn them down, you know? And you guys, stop trying to lead this guy's soul over to the dark side. An inappropriately loud voice echoed throughout the classroom from behind him. Hey, there's that other guy. For the people that are only familiar with them from the FGO event. Vice President. Oh my god, it's him. Sojiro Shizuki. I'm such a big fan. Are you enjoying all of your fruit and or canned meats? I'm very excited to see which one you pick. Sojiro turned around to see a boy about a head taller than him. His long hair, while unkempt, had been brushed back, giving it an appealingly windswept look. His attractive features belied the contempt for the classroom his eyes carried. Unlike the perpetually dopey-looking Sojiro, he was an extremely attractive boy, capable of captivating anyone who so much as glanced at him. Are you captivated, chat? On a scale of 1 to 10, how captivated are you? Please let me know. In most cases, such a boy's presence would be met with awe and respect. However... Oh, look, our mighty vice president has graciously decided to pay us a visit. I thought you were going to take up residence in the cafeteria so you wouldn't have to see our stupid faces anymore. I'm floating again. Have you lost your way, your highness? Your summon where the commoners eat gruel from their troughs? Shouldn't you be sipping tea with the babies, or from the babes? Not the babies. The babes from Class A. 7.57? That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. Why don't you leave Shizuki alone, huh? First Lady Aoko has it in for him, now His Highness too. What could he have done to have earned the attention of such royalty? Really, but Shizuki's such a goody two-shoes. He's never broken any rules. Well, the rules of the school, at least. He did try to jump out of a window, but none of us were there for that. Wait, couldn't it be that Tsukiji really switched teams after Awasaki rejected him? Insane. Actually crazy. They continued to give him a hard time. Sojiro could not help but feel sorry for him. He's a gigachad. The class vice president, on the other hand, showed absolutely no reaction whatsoever. He glared at them with a bored look and simply raised his voice. You freaks should get some new material. Why don't you spend your time more productively for once? Like helping with this special winter cleaning team. Yeah, you heard me. Only one student in the entire school has signed up so far. Having all of Class C with us would be a huge help, but I guess you want me and Aozaki to do all the work. The menacing growl in his voice contrasted greatly with the boy's well-constructed looks. I guess I need to add more growl to my voice. But both Team Canned and Team Fruit's words were doused like a fire being smothered. This was partly due to the fear of the boy, but mostly due to their fear of the special winter cleaning team. Yes, the special winter cleaning team. Joining meant spending part of your winter break cleaning up the old school building in mountainous rear courtyard. Damn, girl. You got a mountainous rear courtyard that had been neglected by the previous 2 student councils. Oh my god, it's Silverwolf. Silverwolf is here. It's crazy. It was a form of legalized torture that could potentially ruin 3 whole days of your summer break. And forget about any compensation in the form of extra credit. No, it was pointless volunteer work for a student council project. It was practically a miracle that they had found even a single volunteer. Sorry, but we're clearly not fit enough. Yeah, that's it. That stuff takes conditioning. We'll just eat our canned food in the corner now, okay? Yeah, us too. We're anemic, you see, and if we don't eat this fruit, we'll die. Then we already have plans, or something. All of the students but one scuffled away. That's much better. Lunchtime is best in silence. I'm tired of people complaining that you guys make even more noise than the freshmen. Get it together, you losers. The mob meekly scurried away. The YouTuber who's Fillion if she got into Fate. I'm Fillion if she got into Fate and then also just sedated herself. Because I do not have the Fillion level energy. I saw, no, I can't go into the story. I want to go into the story, but it takes so many conditional knowledge. There's no way anyone will have any idea what I'm talking about. Never mind. Sojiro turned to join them, but as he did... Hold on, Sojiro, you're with me. The hand on his shoulder held him in place. Hey, yo. Hey, yo, that look, though. That look, though. Maybe he did switch teams. The Fillion can do backflips. I cannot do backflips yet. I can do wee. That's as close as I get. True, you can flip me with points, except I turned it off because I didn't want it to be too distracting when we're reading. Although I'm also already getting distracted, so maybe I should just turn it back on. And sedated, yeah, true. What am I doing? Do you guys want me to turn the flip command back on? Will you be too distracted if I turn the flip command back on? Because I can do it. I just didn't want to be distracting. I actually don't even know, actually I don't know if the flip command is connected. The flip command might not work on this scene. I'm curious. I think it's not, yeah, it's not set up actually, sorry. It's not set up for this scene. I'll get it set up later though, so it works on these games too. What's up, Fortune? But you should still be earning points though, so you will get points. You just won't be able to use them on this stream yet. Anyway, the hand on his shoulder held him in place. Geez, why does the student council, who does the student council think they are anyway, barging into our classroom to lecture us on table manners? But we ball. It's okay, Silver Wolf. You don't have to stay for the stream. I don't want you to I don't want you to be distracted what you're doing. I appreciate you stopping by though. That was very kind of you to say thank you. How can I flip when I have nothing below my torso? Dude, my abs are ripped as hell. That's all I gotta say. Kinomi cursed him under his breath to his friends. The second the vice president turned to go. There's no gamble command. The flip command is off. What was that, Kinomi? Oh, you want to become our second volunteer? Perfect. I'll make it the best winter vacation you've ever had. The vice president must have heard everything Kinomi said because he gave a thumbs up before figuratively jabbing it in his eye. Yo, is this guy for real? This is voluntary, isn't it? If it ain't voluntary, it ain't voluntary if you gotta force people to do it, am I right? The problem child of Class C laughed merrily. That was yesterday. The school has since accepted the president's proposal that council members be able to forcibly enlist students for participation. Holy moly. The summon command is going to be such a pain to make. But I will do it because it will be a very funny bit. And recommendations by the president and the vice president are ironclad. Refusing them means breaking school rules in addition to facing Aozaki's wrath, which, let me tell you, I won't be able to stop. What? You're hanging me by my balls here, dude. This is extortion or blackmail or something. Kinomi's terrified shrieking continued behind them as the vice president and Sojiro left the classroom. A stick figure body? Yeah, that would be funny. It just flips into a different Slowb all entire. Like a go photo negative. What am I going to do with you, Sojiro? With me? Aren't you busy with other things, Vice President? The two entered the empty student council room. Misaki's high student council had the use of 2 rooms. One was a large office specifically made for the student council. The second was an archive room, once used as a preparatory office for math courses. As the latter of the two, the walls were lined with densely packed shelves, making an already cramped room seem even more confined. For this reason, it served more as a private refuge to the student council. The 2 students sat across from one another. Tobimaru Tsukiji. He was the son of the chairman of Misaki High School and the vice president of its student council. Like Sojiro, he was in his 2nd year and first met the transfer student. Oh my god, there's so many time words happening. It's making my brain malfunction. Like Sojiro, he was in his 2nd year and first met the transfer student a week earlier when the task of looking after him was dumped onto the student council. I told you to stop calling me that. People may as well call me the president's dog, the shit I have to take from her. As self-deprecating as his words were, he hardly seemed dissatisfied with the arrangement. He took a snack from his pocket and grimaced at it before taking a bite. The 100-calorie energy bar sacrificed flavor for efficacy, but somehow not enough to prevent him gnawing on it like a piece of jerky. I see what you're saying, Tobimaru, but being a dog isn't exactly a good thing. I like the chewing sound effect. Sojiro sat in the chair with a concerned look on his face. Huh? What's wrong with dogs? Dogs aren't good. I mean, it's a bad comparison in the first place, but dogs are way scarier. You grew up in the mountains and you're still afraid of dogs? I'm afraid of most animals, but dogs are in a class of their own. A pack of wild dogs is particularly terrifying. They're as tenacious as they are fast. No matter where you run, they'll chase you as long as there's still life left in them. Sojiro opened his lunch as he spoke. Inside the bright green cloth, 3 beautifully made triangular rice balls. Would you look at that? Look at what? What do you mean? Oh, nothing. It's just that those are some special looking rice balls you've got there. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm trying to compliment you, you idiot. Sojiro is always confounded by phrasing that could be interpreted in multiple ways. Euphemisms and subtle sarcasm were often lost on him. Have a good one, Raccoon. Thanks for stopping by. It was only on rare occasions like this one that he chose to confirm what was being said. Tobimaru had come to suspect that Sojiro had a very black and white way of seeing things. Say, does that hard chunk of flour-looking stuff taste any good? Sojiro stared at the energy bar with a curious look on his face. It's not meant to taste good. You can try it if you want. People shouldn't hold back when it comes to the three base desires. Tobimaru quickly finished off his bar, put another one on the table, and grabbed one of Sojiro's rice balls. Sojiro failed to notice the rudeness of the forced exchange and gave the proffered energy bar a try. It kind of tastes like dirt. Now you get it. It's what a joyless existence tastes like. Out of principle, Sojiro labored over his energy bar, cringing all the while. He was both curious of the unknown and loath to leave something unfinished. Don't force yourself to finish it right now. The whole point of it is that you can eat it on the run. And while the flavor isn't that great, at least it's consistent. Anyway, never mind that. Are you getting used to how things work around here? Hey, Fiat. Yes, you and Aozaki have been a huge help. Tobimaru turned his eyes up to the ceiling, unable to handle Sojiro's carefree smile. As absent-minded as Sojiro might have been, his expressions were nonetheless incredibly earnest. It was like poison to someone as self-absorbed as Tobimaru. You only got 2 passion lips? What banner were you pulling on? I don't even know what banner's up. This guy is a Giga Chad? True. I mean, I also understand the feeling, because that does feel really bad. Now I know why Aozaki goes so out of his way to avoid him. He took a bite from the rice ball to steer himself away from such thoughts. Though now cold, the rice had managed to maintain its freshness, startling Tobimaru. Huh? Wait a second. I'm the one that has your back, you know that, right? Aozaki told me you're way too annoying to deal with. The yaoi is very strong, I must say. Did I say something to upset you? Don't you get it? I'm the only one helping you keep your head above water. While Aozaki sits in the student council room digging up dirt on other students. I'm the one who gets lumbered with the crap jobs while she gets to... Tobimaru stopped himself, realizing how ridiculous he sounded. Sojiro, rightly so, knew it was nothing to get upset over. Well, whatever. I'm only here because she told me to be. Do you know why she stuck me with you? Because you're the vice president? Tobimaru's handsome face went dark. Do you really think it's normal for a student council vice president to waste all of his time on a single transfer student? What part? Wait, what part is Samurai Remnant all over again? You'll have to be more specific. It being yaoi? Is that what you're referring to? Whatever, man. Try asking her directly if you get the chance. You'll learn who she really is. He snatched another bite of the rice ball while grumbling under his breath. There it was again. Rice grains that were just dry enough to be fresh and tender in the mouth. A morsel that betrayed its humble description, which may have been delicately molded by a master chef rather than haphazardly clumped into a ball. Bro, Jesus Christ. The yaoi meter is raising rapidly. Just the right amount of salt and the subtlest of soy sauce notes coming from the center of it. It doesn't just whet your appetite, it stimulates the desire centers of your brain and oh wow. Tobimaru, appear to be thinking out loud. It's nothing, just color me surprised. Hey, Sonoji, what's this filling anyway? It's my love. I see Paula Allen's rice ball. That's really good. It was only natural to inquire about the unexpectedly delicious bite. He had been nibbling around the edges and had not yet reached his center. Oh, King Protea. That man, that is really lame. I'm sorry. KP is great, so I understand the distress. Anyway, they're eating grasshopper. No way. The vice president choked on his cough. He'd assumed that Sojiro would prefer earthy ingredients instead of seafood on account of his mountain life, but he never expected he would use grasshoppers. Damn it, you should have warned me first, Sojiro, but man, was that delicious. Oh, I was just joking. Whoa! I didn't think Sojiro could, like, make a joke. Crazy. They locked eyes for a moment. Oh, excuse me. Let me give you two some room. It's salmon. I would never eat grasshopper. Oh, right. Yeah, I knew that. Of course it would be grasshopper. Wouldn't be grasshopper. Yeah, I mean, you can't find any fresh grasshoppers in the city to begin with. Ugh. As curious as those words were, Tobimaru decided to let them go. Jeez, Sojiro, that's not something to joke about. You want me to hurl or something? Don't say bad things about Aozaki then. Whoa. Whoa. Offensive. Sojiro closed his eyes as he continued to chew on his rice ball. I love that face. That's a really good face. Tobimaru watched incredulously as Sojiro made no attempt to hide his disapproval. Okay, that I can't let go. You're really saying that you're taking revenge for Aozaki? That. Sojiro continued chewing. The country boy's silent protest said all that needed to be said. The vice president suddenly looked like he'd been struck by lightning. What the? Don't tell me you've fallen for Aozaki. You have, haven't you? Hey, ask you a question, damn it. Tobimaru flew out of his chair and violently shook. Oh god, this fucking tongue twister sentence. Shook Sojiro by the shoulders. Oh my. Sojiro opened his eyes. I forget. You don't know about what happened a year ago. Because if you did, you wouldn't be treading down this path of destruction, my friend. You've got it all wrong, but that's okay. Tell me what happened a year ago first. Tobimaru regained his composure and sat down after a moment's thought. Okay, I'm not one to gossip, but for you, I'm making an exception. Tobimaru reassured himself that it was in Sojiro's best interest as a young man to know. Be beatboxing, yeah. I went down when Aozaki was a freshman. Everyone was new to high school, so nobody knew what anyone was like yet, her included. She was a total babe. I mean, just look at her. I'm not gonna lie, Lich, I did also think of that when I said it. All the guys were crazy for her. Little did they know that soon after, they would go crazy for an entirely different reason. The first couple of months, the school descended into chaos. You gotta remember that early on in the year, no one cared about class hierarchy. Pros protein maxing. So tons of guys were fighting themselves over her. It was insane. Just getting anywhere near Aozaki was next to impossible. I don't understand. Why would that happen? Because that's what happens when 100 guys like the same girl, duh. It would have taken Aozaki 3 months just to have lunch with them all individually. So people decided to fight over who got to ask her out. About that? They were all a bunch of losers if you ask me, but what happened next is the juicy part. Hell yeah, Ryu. Those who emerged from the conflict unscathed made their move. And though she might not seem like it, she's the type who likes to put a guy down lightly, you know, because of their sincerity or courage or whatever. At any rate, she rejected all comers as politely as she could. But there was one guy who couldn't take a hit. He was a third year who just refused to give up. Maybe he was a little bit nuts. It's hard to see it any other way at this point. What did the grasshopper taste like? Makes Quaddle. Incidentally, Tobimaru decided to gloss over the fact that the student was also the former student council president. But he didn't keep it up only at school. Later, he started following her home. That must have been the last straw because Aoko, it is Aoko, but whatever, wigged out. She sent him packing in ways I'm not comfortable repeating out loud. Ooh. The conclusion? The student didn't just request a transfer, he tucked the tail and left Misaki completely. Aozaki was sentenced to a month of house arrest. I don't know, dude. She was getting stalked. That's kind of rough. It is very cool, yeah, I agree. It came to be known as the Bloody Town Hall incident. She could tell you more about it than I can, but I wouldn't recommend asking her. Ask the school newspaper editor instead. She loves a bit of gossip. Tobimaru, I get the feeling you're not telling everything. Hey, you'd do the same if you were me. I may be the board of chairman's son and all, but something is scarier than me, and I want to graduate in one piece. Oh my god. Say that again. You want me to freak out every time I see a girl in a school uniform? Sojiro tilted his head to the side in confusion. It looked kind of like this. Tobimaru had lost him with that comment. It mostly tastes like what it was seasoned and cooked with, a bit earthy though. That's not bad. I could manage that. You have to rip up her birthday invitation in public and then threaten her life. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I'm familiar with that clip. Well, whatever. What is it about Aozaki that you like anyway? He tilted his head again, this time to the other side. Whoa, are you really that hot for her? Because if your heart pounds in her presence, that could be caused by fear, you know? Tell me you aren't stupid enough to like her for no good reason. He tilted his head even further. What Tobimaru was saying sounded off, but Sojiro decided not to press the matter. All the more because he found many of his own emotions towards Aoko Aozaki to be incomprehensible. It is kind of strange, to be honest. I don't even know her that well. That was because they had not truly spoken to each other since the day she showed him around. Every time Sojiro tried to talk to her, she immediately got up and left. As fate would have it, they ended up working together that recent Sunday, but that made only idle chatter on the way back. There's something you don't know either, Tobimaru. Sometimes I feel someone's gaze on me, and when I turn around to see who it is, she's there, looking like she's worried about me. That'll mess up. I know what you'll say. She just happened to see me in the hallway and was keeping an eye on me. Maybe she secretly wishes she could ignore me when we pass each other. But whatever the reason, I believe her concern is genuine. And that's the most important thing about all this. I believe that nature of hers has helped me out repeatedly. His tone was measured and sincere. Tobimaru sighed with a tinge of regret. I love a woman that would just kill me. If not for those words, he could have introduced Sojiro to a more suitable girl with whom he could have lived out the rest of his school days in peace. He never went to such lengths for his other friends. Generally speaking, if it was of some benefit to him, he was unafraid of exploiting another. If they were of no use, he didn't bother getting involved with them. That was how Tobimaru Tsukiji operated. Sojiro happened to be the type of person who provided no benefit to Tobimaru, yet somehow sparked in him a desire to help. It was not that friendship was completely alien to him. He just did not have many people he felt that close to. So if Sojiro had really fallen for Aoko, it was not his place as a friend to try to change his mind. Well, I guess it's true that love knows no reason. I wouldn't say there's no reason for it. I can think of at least one. I can think of one at least. I thought she was beautiful the moment I first laid eyes on her. Huh? Tobimaru's shoulder slumped. After all that, you just like her for her looks? Listen to yourself, Sojiro. What's wrong with appreciating beauty? I don't think there's anything wrong with judging someone by the physical appearance they worked hard to create. That sounded like a sophism to Tobimaru, but he had no counterpoint to offer. Alright, I get it. I'll let it go. It's none of my business who you go after anyway. Now, Tobimaru was mistaken about one major point during this whole conversation. Namely that Sojiro was not head over heels in love with Aoko and hoped to go steady with her. He merely liked her as a person. Okay, I was gonna say that this did not seem within Sojiro's character to have these emotions this quickly. Nobody could have foreseen the massive calamity that would be caused by this simple misunderstanding. I've just got one piece of advice for you, Sojiro. Just because Aozaki fights with someone doesn't mean she hates them. And just because she's nice to someone doesn't mean she likes them. I'm a prime example of that. He spoke with a pained sigh as if opening old wounds from the past. I see. What happened? Long story short, she used to be really full of herself and I once tried to hit her. Hit her? Wait, hit? Like hit on her or hit her? Okay. It happened last summer. I'd already been working with her in the student council for a year at that point, and saw her more like a fellow soldier in the trenches than as a girl. One day I lost my temper. Okay, no, hit. Just straight up hit. One day I lost my temper and I took a swing at her. I like to think I've got a mean right hook and I slugged her pretty good. So I thought I won that round. He had a distant look in his eyes as his words trailed off. The next day, when I came to the student council room, I thought she'd be spoiling for a fight, but she was the same as always. And since then, we've simply continued working together as president and vice president. Sojiro sighed at his story. He then said with absolute confidence, "So you just wanted to brag about how close you two are?" Clearly he had missed the point entirely. Are you kidding me? How in the hell do you come to that conclusion after hearing a story like that? I'm telling you that from that day forward, I could never see her again as a woman. Oh, I was mistaken? A look of disappointment flitted across Sojiro's face. Tobimaru revised his opinion. Sojiro was something of a simpleton, but there was a quality to him that Tobimaru could not quite place. Just take it from me, her standards are anything but normal. She won't like you for being nice to her, and she won't hate you for being mean to her. That's the kind of princess she is. Sojiro answered that he would keep it in mind as he looked to the clock. They had been talking for a while and lunch was almost over. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss? I didn't have anything to discuss in the first place. Why had Tobimaru even brought him here in the first place? Sojiro tilted his head in wonder, but shook it off to deal with the more pressing matters at hand. Could you stay a little longer? There's something I wanted to ask you. Are you single? Tobimaru sat up straight, having never seen Sojiro's face look so serious before. Sojiro set aside his rice ball and cleared his throat. It's about something that happened yesterday. He spoke solemnly. And as carefully as possible, he recounted what had occurred the night before. Whoa, drama. Shizuki, you in here? It was 10 to 12 and lunchtime was quickly coming to an end. Her face popped into Class C as lively as ever. And if it were an everyday occurrence, Aoko Aozaki, as if it were an everyday occurrence, Aoko Aozaki announced her presence. While Aoko wasn't part of Class C, she didn't let it bother her as she as she casually entered the classroom. In contrast, the baby birds who had been so noisily chirping while eating lunch quickly quieted and began to rearrange their seats. I'm gonna take a second to drink some water. I think my mouth is not keeping up with my brain. It's a good thing I decided to stop reading in a completely silent scene. Made for really good radio.
どういう意味よ。
Are they trying to tell me something? She bristled internally before looking around the room. She could not see the male student she had come here to find. He hardly stood out, so she thought he might be hidden in a corner somewhere, but that appeared to not be the case.
有里くん、出席番号12番のしずきくんは？
Arisato, do you have any idea where Shizuki from C12 is? Aoko kept her tone professional.
俺
Wait, me, Shizuki left with His Highness Tobimaru a while ago. The boy was shocked that she actually knew his name. One might think that the reason students referred to Tobimaru Tsukiji by a royal title was because he was the chairman's son, but it was because he actually acted like royalty. In fact, the vice president was said to have taken a liking to the title.
飛丸が？あいつ
He's with Tobimaru. Are those two friends or something? She seemed surprised. The class seemed surprised at her surprise.
いいも悪いも
No idea, but we've never seen Tsukiji be that friendly with another boy before. Well, maybe Kinomi, but he's an idiot, so that hardly counts.
そうだよな
Yeah, His Highness was slow to warm to him, but since the third day, it's been nothing but friendly arguments.
口喧嘩してたもんなま
Where's the background noise? Oh, you can't really help but like Shizuki. He may be a little odd, but he's good
そう
people.
よね
Totally, Sojiro was really nice. Having recomposed themselves, Class C started chatting again. Aoko listened for a bit before turning around and leaving the class with a later. All the Sojiro talk finished as quickly as it had started. Lunchtime was coming to a close in the student council room. Sojiro, having told his story, was smiling in satisfaction. Tobimaru, still sitting across from him, was frowning.
さあ感想を聞かせてくれ
So what do you think? Sojiro told his yarn as best as he could. Tobimaru fingered his brow as if he was angry or concerned.
なあその
Sonoji, are you trying to make fun of me? A word of advice, leave that to us smart people,
失礼な器用な方だぞ
Take that back, I'm more clever than you think. His response only confirmed Tobimaru's suspicions. It had to be one of two possible conclusions. That what Sojiro had just told him was true, or that Sojiro was so tired that he must have been hallucinating at the time. Tobimaru sincerely hoped it was the latter.
宗次郎
To be honest, Sojiro, you're growing on me.
嘘のない人間なんて
Anybody that never lies can't really be considered human.
俺は人間嫌いだから
So for a misanthrope like me, I suppose you could say it's easy to like you.
そんなやつまでバカ
But if you're gonna stick to your dumb story, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for lunch starting tomorrow.
学食で食べればいいんじゃないか
Why not just eat in the cafeteria? Hearing his suggestion, Tobimaru's face darkened.
分かったはっきり
Okay, I'll spell it out for you. You are hallucinating.
幽霊の
If you still insist you saw a ghost, I'd be more than happy to introduce you to a good
それ
psychiatrist.
でも納得いかないってんならそれが君の感想か
So that's your... Whoa.
ならいいんだ
I choose a fantastic stream to clean house to. It's like an audiobook. True. It is very audiobook-esque. Thank you so much, Lily. I really appreciate it. I hope your cleaning is going well. Yes, I am two-dimensional. Because it's a chill stream. And if I'm standing, it won't be chill. Or, well, it'll be less chill. So that's your take on it. Good to know. As bitter as Tobimaru's words might have sounded to most, Sojiro swallowed them whole. Num 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 num. I already figured as much. It sounds like a tall tale to me, too. I was starting to wonder if it was normal for that kind of thing to go on in a city, so I wanted to hear your opinion. Satisfied, Sojiro finished off his last rice ball and neatly folded the cloth. Hey, hold on a second. You didn't actually think it was normal for people in the city to breathe fire or extend their arm like they're made of rubber, did you? So did you see the thing that happened in the forest? Is that the implication? I kind of assumed that that's what we're talking about. Well, not normal as much as within the realm of possibility. Chill streams are nice? Hell yeah, dude. The city is full of extraordinary things we don't have up in the mountains. I thought it might have some extraordinary people as well. That his face was so serious as it was made Tobimaru realize just how big a culture shock Sojiro must have been experiencing. Living up in the mountains with no electricity, in a place where the night sky was as it had always been, where humans were just one more organism in nature's garden, it makes sense that those conditions would create a boy like him. The One Piece is real. The idea of children growing up so pure was an appealing one, but maybe it was natural to forego civilization when your population was so small. Or perhaps it's references to other media. Well, I assumed it had something to do with whatever he saw. Did he, like, see an episode of TV? Does Sojiro think that, like, cartoons are real? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Or perhaps it was so simple a word that excessive knowledge was deemed irrelevant. It was precisely because city life offered him so much that was impossible up till now that he had come to the conclusion that anything was possible here. Relax, the city might have its share of shady guys, but none of them are magicians in disguise. I hope you're right. But Sojiro seemed unsure. And on Tobimaru's part, there were things to Sojiro's story that he found hard to swallow. Whether true or not, the incidents Sojiro had described was disturbing. I assume it will be referenced later. They're just like, fake boasting. For the time being, let's assume what you saw actually happened. That would ultimately mean that one of our school students killed someone in the park last night and that neither of the parties involved were normal. As a newcomer to town, Sojiro assumed that everyone his age was a student at this school. For better or worse, he was right. You missed an hour? Oh my god. They've just been sitting here talking for this whole time. Also, oh my god, thank you so much, Ryu. You were too kind. I appreciate it, thank you. You were stuck on the thumbnail? Wait, okay. I didn't realize I've only been streaming for an hour. You've just been watching the thumbnail this whole time, Shadow? Did you think that I was an hour late? That's kind of crazy. Also, Ryu, I didn't see your profile picture till now. That is really funny. I kind of love it. I love Ed and Eddie. Where was I? Staring at the thumbnail with no audio. I'm so sorry, Shadow. One of them was equipped with a flamethrower, while the other had naginata, or at least a bladed weapon resembling one that was a good few feet in length. Okay, maybe this isn't the other thing. OBS is... Oh, wait. You thought that the OBS problem was so bad that I was still... Oh, God. Oh, I'm so sorry. You feared... Oh, wait, I know what joke that is for you. That's funny. You were listening to music. I'm so sorry, Shadow. That's such a bummer. But yeah, pretty much all that's happened is Sojiro met this guy and they're just talking. That's pretty much been the whole stream up till now. Also, Aoko's looking for them. That's pretty much it. Sojiro bobbed his head up and down as he listened to the disbelief in Tobimaru's voice. Hearing it repeated by someone else, he could see how someone might think he was taking them for a ride. Look, I'm not crazy. It really did happen, like I said. Give it to me straight, Sojiro. You're pulling my leg, aren't you? No, I'm not. That's why you were chatting so much. Oh, that's why you were like, so, anyone having a good day? That's too funny. But I get it. There's no one in the city who can do that, right? If not, I was probably just hallucinating, like you said. Working part-time while studying for exams has been pretty tiring. Trying. Same difference. Winter break was just around the corner and the end of term exams were but a week away. Both were proving formidable opponents for Sojiro. Oh yeah, Kinomi's gonna eat. Kinomi's gonna get botulism. That's the other thing that's happening. I don't even know the basics, so I need to study twice as hard as everyone else. I mean, anyone would start to lose it if they did nothing but study, right? I wouldn't say you're losing it, but you're definitely pushing yourself too hard. Maybe cut back on work a bit until the exams are over. I tried to cut back, but a lot of people take off at the end of the year, so they often ask me to fill in for their shifts. He shrugged helplessly. It was obvious from his words that he had been busy. Even if he was not going crazy, lack of sleep must have caused him to daydream, even if this all did go down in the middle of the night. Sounds tough, Sojiro. Yeah, city life has been exhausting. Sojiro nodded with a pained look on his face. What was strange, however, was that he did not look the least bit tired. I'm impressed you never complain about it. You always seem like nothing bothers you at all. That's just because it isn't bad enough to bother me. As he answered, Sojiro looked up at the clock on the wall. Lunchtime was almost over. Tobimaru, the time. Really? It's that late already? You can go on ahead. I still have things to do. Sojiro watched as Tobimaru made a gesture that seemed to lament the life of a student council member. His eyes looked as if they were looking at a piece of art and not understanding its value. I'm jealous that you can just skip class whenever you want. I would have thought you were a stickler for the rules. How many times do I have to tell you it's not skipping when I've got special permission? The vice president angrily defended himself as he stood up. The transfer student merely gazed at him, unfazed. Hey, you're not honestly implying that you still don't understand after all that, are you? Oh well, just sit down and listen, Sonoji. I was granted talent and luck beyond that of most people, but I always put the work in. But once I leave here, I'm on my own. Now do you get it? I'm sick of explaining this to people. My family's status will only keep me afloat for one more year. What about that could you possibly envy? Most people can live off privilege for their entire lives, but the best I get is three measly years. So I have to take advantage of what I have while I have it. Just the thought of having to count beans like the rest of the idiots out there gets me livid. The adult world is going to kill me. The envy alone will be enough to destroy my fragile heart. Well, he must have been joking. Sojiro took his tone to be completely sincere. He listened as he envied Tobimaru's ability to be so open about his feelings. From his frame of reference, there is nothing he could do but take Tobimaru for his word. If you're looking to extend your privileges, why not stay in school? I'd be more than happy to arrange that for you. The door to the student council room flew open, washing away Sojiro's half-hearted response to his friends. This frosty statement destroyed the warm atmosphere of the room. And it also marked the abrupt end to Tobimaru Tsukiji's reign there. No, it just meant that our dreams are something we take hold of ourselves. Really? Then why not spend more time on that than this pathetic display? I could hear you all the way from the hallway, Mr. Vice President. Itchy. Not missing a beat, Aoko Alzaki stepped inside the room. Her dark hair was slightly disheveled as if she had been running. Her gaze missed the sitting Sojiro entirely and was focused completely on the ranting vice president.
頑張れ飛び丸
Good luck, Tobimaru. Sojiro quietly got up to head back to his classroom.
割と白状なんだ
That's cold, man. Tobimaru grumbled in front of Aoko.
だって時間がない
But it's almost time for class. She is a bundle of aggression. That's a good way to put it.
だからそういうのが白
You're
状
just proving my point, He cut himself off. Aoko briefly shifted her gaze to Sojiro.
時間がないのは
It's
私
not
の
like I
話
have
よ
time for this either, you know. It feels like I'm always having to clean up after you. Not a complaint, it was her honest opinion.
なんだ
Wait, you're here for
要件は
Sojiro?
総十郎か
安心なさいあなたにもあるから
Don't worry, I'll deal with you next. Huh? Her eyes shimmered with a murderous glee. It was slightly different from the more sullen gaze to which Tobimaru had grown accustomed. For whatever reason, Aoko's mood seemed worse than usual.
しずきくんあなた
Shizuki, which do you prefer? Running or swimming? Aoko asked abruptly. Sojiro frowned a little before saying he was fine with either one.
ダメよ一つに
That won't do. Pick one. Swimming, I guess. Why do you ask? That's impressive for a guy that lived in the mountains. I guess, I don't know. There probably it's like lakes and stuff now that I think about it.
あなたがまだどこの
Because
国
you
に
still
帰
haven't
国して
joined a
ない
club. A succinct reply. One that left no room for Sojiro to object.
うちの校則読んだわ
You've read the school's regulations. All students must participate in club activities.
正直どうかと思う
I'm not the biggest fan of it myself, to be honest, but a rule is a rule.
そんな無茶
That's crazy. How could I possibly find the time for that?
でしょうね
How indeed. An equally terse response. She was typically to the point, but Tobimaru got the impression that she was expressly trying to keep her interaction with Sojiro short. They stared at each other in silence. Tobimaru stood breathlessly silent on the sidelines until Sojiro broke the impasse.
青崎は分かってると思ってた
Yeah, I always think that's interesting when they have that in anime and stuff that everybody needs to be in a club. It's kind of an interesting rule. I thought you of all people would understand Aozaki.
あいや違う
I mean, of course you do.
Hmm.
That's what makes you
そ
strong.
こが強いんだろうね
When I taught, can you guys guess what club I advised when I was a teacher? See if you can figure it out. Sojiro stood up from his seat. He walked past Aoko and into the hallway.
それ
Do you mind if I start tomorrow?
しずきくんがいいならね
Whatever works for you, Shizuki. He did. Fuck. How did you do that 12th night? You literally guessed it on the very first guess. God damn it. The game is over because you immediately got it. That's so funny. Anime club or MTG club? I would have hosted either of those. I do like both of those things. Fake club. I don't think that's a thing. That was the one you were in? Oh my god. Homework club? No. Well, damn. That ruined the... I am impressed, though. You got it. Easy. I was never really that good. Like, I'm okay at chess, but... I mostly just did that because I was like, this is an easy club to advise. I just have to put a bunch of boards out. And tell the kids not to hurt themselves. Somehow. I bench 450? I do not. I would be impressive. He did his best to force a smile before leaving the student council room. You just have to teach the rules? Yeah, I would do that. Well, honestly, most of the kids, believe it or not, most kids that join high school chess club already know how to play chess. I think of the kids that went to the class, I think I only had to teach like a quarter of them. The dorkiest teacher in my school, crying. Actually crying. While watching the events play out, Tobimaru found himself deeply impressed with Sojiro. He could tell from Aoko's behavior that she was trying to get a rise out of Sojiro. Sojiro, on the other hand, didn't react. Heedless of what Aoko was doing, he simply went on his way. To Tobimaru, it was hard to believe that Sojiro had not taken offense. From his point of view, Sojiro's poker face had been the performance of a lifetime.
いや、でも何が強いんだろうな、会長。
The kid has some balls, huh, President? He looked at Aoko curiously. Aoko stood completely still, staring at the wall. Hey, Aozaki. Aoko showed no response.
おい、会長。青崎。
Our advisor had me teach other members.
おい、聞いてんのかよ、青崎青子。
Yo, President, Earth Aozaki, come in, Lady Aoko. I'm talking to you, Aoko Aozaki.
さいはね、青を呼ぶな。
Enough with the ow, ow, ow already. God. Her fury echoed across the student council room. Yes, I'm not currently a teacher, but I was a teacher. It was a beautiful sound that could be heard into the hallway and made Tobimaru's rant from earlier pale in comparison. That's pretty sick, Shadow. Look who's talking, Miss Megaphone. Perhaps her shouting was still ringing in his ears, or he was just the type to answer a shout with a shout, but he shot back reflexively. No wonder you can't get a boyfriend. Do I have your attention now? I could hear you before. I was just ignoring you because you were annoying me, and I thought it'd be easier than getting you to shut up. That was a very teenager response. You've got some nerve. Am I a mosquito to you? A mosquito would offer better company, so no. And what exactly is that supposed to mean? We never see eye to eye. Talking to you is like going on a date. Both pointless activities. Based on that statement, Aoko must have been under the assumption that dating was the act of two lovers whispering nonsense to each other. The real question is what the hell qualifies as company to you, but whatever. You're awfully harsh today, Aozaki. Maybe a little. This isn't exactly the time to act nice. To make nice. Funny you mentioned that. I haven't seen you try to be civil at all in the last 2 years. Oh, I'm always civil. Just not when you're in the same room. So that's how it is. You're still upset with me for what happened, aren't you? There's only one thing that Tobimaru could be talking about. The incident that had occurred in the student council room this past summer. Huh? Isn't that ancient history at this point? Don't you think you should stop wasting brain power on this? I mean, you've got so few brain cells to work with as it is. As the conversation wore on, Aoko's murderous aura began to fade, and her sharp gaze gave way to a calmer demeanor rarely seen from her. It was quite possible that nobody besides Tobimaru had ever seen this side of her at school before. Thanks for the concern, psych. And for the record, it's not like I want to relive it either. It's just when Sonoji was being an idiot earlier, it kind of reminded me of how it went down. Come to think of it, this is the room it happened in. For her, it was a Tuesday. Dude, real shit. Despite his ranting, his face betrayed a touch of nostalgia. Aoko, on the other hand, was scowling. When do we write poems? You can write a poem right now if you want. Hold on. You didn't tell him about what happened, did you? Sure did. At least how you mocked my candidacy for president and told me my face had sidekick written all over it, and the part where I took the bait and tried my damnedest to punch you for it. Aoko let out a sigh, as if relieved that Tobimaru had not told Sojiro the rest of the story. Even she wasn't sure why. I'll admit that was quite a punch, though. It was enough to make me react on reflex. Did I really say that, by the way? You sure did. And not only that, after I was taken to the infirmary, you had the balls to tell me you did me a favor by forcing me to be your number 2. Since that day, Tobimaru had served as the vice president, the person who'd usurped the rule. I wish I could read. To the person who'd usurped the role from him. I'm so sorry. It's fine though. The president's chair doesn't suit me anyway. I feel much more at home as vice president. Your job would have probably turned me into my dad.
プライド高い分できること
Your pride's never allowed you to give anything less than your best.
会長職に
You might be a little too comfortable in the student council though. Makes me wonder how you would have looked as an honor student.
やめてくれ、ゾッとしね。
Don't even go there. Even thinking about it gives me the creeps.
猫かぶるのはお前だけで十分だ。
Having one wolf in sheep's clothing around here is bad enough. Tobimaru shooed Aoko away like an annoying pest. It was a typical example of the crude verbal abuse they exchanged on a daily basis with a wittiness that only two longtime foes could manage.
なん
So,
でそんな話したのよ
why did you tell him?
は？
Tell who
半
what?
年前のここの事件
Why did you tell him what happened between you and me?
ああ、そっちか。
Oh, that. I was just trying to put a stop to the nonsense he was spewing, and he stopped himself before he said any more. He knew better than to let slip the fact that Sojiro had a thing for Aoko. Everyone knew guys didn't sell each other out like that, even if it was all in truth a misunderstanding.
それより、さっきのはないんだよ。
Anyway, what the hell was that before, Aozaki?
お前、
That's some grudge you've got against Sojiro.
7日以上前の
I'm not some princess he goes around holding grudges for something that happened over a week ago, you know? He wanted to retort that she was more like a queen than a princess. But she'd come to know her too well over the past 2 years to dig himself into a hole like that.
恨みはないね。
Okay, so why'd you pick a fight with him?
確かに調子
I mean, he does throw you off when you talk to him, but there's not an evil bone in his body. Ugh. That's another good expression.
おい待て。
Wow, why are you looking at me like you just stepped in a turd?
ような態度は。
別に
No big reason. Hearing you say that, I was just thinking that I've never met such a despicable person in my life.
まあいっか
Well, whatever. So he's a good guy. That makes him the perfect person to pick a fight with. If nobody else will do it, the job falls to me, right? She said casually, having regained her composure.
しないとねって。
You just can't help yourself, huh? Tobimaru could not follow her reasoning at all. Tobimaru was used to Aoko's erratic trains of thought, but hating Sojiro for no reason seemed needlessly cruel. His friend's naive and innocent face came to mind, and then he blurted.
けど、
But
そういうのは
Sojiro's taken a shine to you, Aozaki. Jesus
誰でも
Christ.
嫌いなのか？
Bruh. You sold him out so easily. You sold him out with zero pressure. What's wrong with you? But Sojiro's taken a shine to you, Aozaki. How can you hate him knowing that? His vow of silence had lasted not even 2 minutes.
あいや
Oh, what I meant was, he tried to take it back, but it was too late. She had heard his words loud and clear. All he could hope for now was that she would take it well.
そりゃそうでしょ好き嫌いは誰にもあるし
Because I like what I like and dislike what I don't like.
けどこればかりはね
Just because he wants to be friends doesn't mean I have to suddenly like him.
私は嫌いなんだからしか
Stone, cold, Aoko. Tobimaru found himself with indignation at how detached Aoko was being.
いや、そんなお友達
Don't you
の
get
こと
it?
の
This
話
isn't
じゃ
just
な
about
くてな
friendship.
そういう好き
And I
嫌い
didn't
が
mean
な
he
く
only
て
likes you either. Believe me when I say that Sonoju really has a thing for you. He shouted, his face the embodiment of sincerity. Aoko gave him a blank stare. It was the face of someone who had lost their wallet hours earlier and was only now just realizing it. The first instant of doubt that ushers in the reality of the situation. But an instant is all it was.
Ne?
So what? She answered coolly, as if she had no idea why it should matter to her at all.
出ときたか。
So what? Were you born in hell? I'd assume you didn't hear me, and I'll say it again. Sojiro. Tobimaru gave up any presence of masculine solidarity and fired back hard.
いいわよそんなの
Don't bother. I couldn't care less. She ruthlessly cut him off. Ugh. The worst wingman in history. Thinking of the boys who still harbored unrequited love for Aoko, Tobimaru tried hard to come up with a name befitting the demonness in front of her, in front of him.
なるほどね
Now I see, so that's why you told him about our little incident.
へえ
Ooh,
柄にもなく友達思いじゃない殿下
that's another good phrase. Who could have thought His Highness could be so considerate to his friends?
ってことは聞 くも無残。
I bet you also told him all the nasty rumors floating about me too, huh? She laughed as a fiendish smile adorned her face. Tobimaru repented to God, whoever and wherever he or she might be, for forever bringing up Ako's love life.
飛び丸にしちゃ正しい。
He did the right thing, Tobimaru. Now be a good little vice president and tell me every single thing you told him.
私。
She was smiling, but Tobimaru wished he'd at least try to hide the bloodlust.
代表作と
Just two things, really. The story you're most infamous for, and what happened in this room. Aoko nodded with satisfaction as she listened to Tobimaru's hesitant answer.
こういう時、噂話って便利よね。
Rumors like those can come in handy sometimes. You can use them to chase off annoying people. Just be careful about who you tell, okay?
これからは気をつけてね。
Had this been in writing, the chillingly sweet tone of her words could have been signed with a heart. Whether angry or happy, Aozaki spoke in a disturbingly cute manner when she was in a heightened emotional state. Tobimaru took note of this new discovery, aware that it did nothing to get him out of this situation. I didn't do last week this early because Didu was streaming and I didn't want to stream at the same time as Didu. But Didu's not streaming today, so we're back to the normal time.
ああ俺も命
Don't
が
worry,
欲しいから
I value my life, so I'll shut my mouth.
けど
But Haozaki, do you really hate Sojiro that much? He knew that it was a topic he would be better off avoiding, but he tried asking anyway. The bonds between men at times shine more beautifully than a pearl.
もう。
Well, I might not like him, but that doesn't mean I hate him. I'm not even sure why I feel the way I do,
嫌う理由はだからダメなのね。
which is probably the problem. Perhaps to placate Tobimaru, Aoko paused in contemplation before she answered. Giving it a moment without immediately blurting out a response meant that not even he could complain. Huh, I guess that makes sense.
何しろ綺麗さっぱり感情論
As much as emotional arguments can make sense, there's nothing I can do if neither of you understand why you feel the way you do.
わけだし
SST -2, exactly. Thinking that would be the end of it, Tobimaru looked up toward the ceiling and silently apologized to Sojiro. However, his final sentence appeared to have piqued Aoko's interest.
待って。
Wait, what do you mean by that? Her faux cheer had vanished. Failing to pick up on this, Tobimaru answered nonchalantly.
いやあいつもさ青崎に惚れ
Oh, nothing. It's just that Sojiro also said he wasn't exactly sure why he liked you, or more like there was no particular reason for how he felt, I think. Tobimaru was still in disbelief that Sojiro had been charmed by Aoko's appearance, so he purposely left that out.
理由はない。です。
He said he likes me for no reason?
ああ
Yeah, I mean, I even told him about all the rumors around you and it had no effect on him whatsoever. What did he say again? Oh, right, he was going on about how genuine your concern for him was and how it really helped him. It's almost too mushy for me to repeat out loud.
はっきりしてんのは
All I can say is that, unlike the other boys, the rumors didn't faze him in the least. Tobimaru finally noticed the shift in Aoko's demeanor. She was scowling at the wall. She glared at it in silence, like it was her worst enemy, and this continued for several minutes. And now she's shaking. What the hell is that? Why can't I shake the feeling that I've heard all this before somewhere? Dude, oh my god. That's crazy. So great was her ire that the gnashing of her teeth was audible. The irritation seethed until it reached the point that Aoko forgot Tobimaru was even in the room. Tobimaru looked heavenward for forgiveness, sensing that he'd brought further calamity down upon Sojiro's head.
少しわかったわ。
I kind of get it now. I think I know why I don't like him. Tobimaru looked away as if to indicate that he'd rather not know, but Aoko ignored him and began to grumble venomously.
あいつ、
She does look like she's about to explode. The way he acts and talks reminded me of someone I despise. Like how everyone thinks he's an angel and how nothing seems to bother him. Maybe it's how good he is at getting on my nerves. Glancing idly up at the clock, Tobimaru thought that last part sounded just like it. Tobimaru thought that last part just sounded like misplaced anger. And that was that. 1 o'clock had come and gone. Fine, I get it. Sorry I said anything. So did you need me for anything? Class has already started, you know? Huh? What do you mean by class? When did it? The bell rang right after Sonoji left, around the time you were busy being pissed off at the wall. Tell me, Miss President, are you allowed to miss 5th period? Of course I'm not. Why didn't you say something? She looked like she was on the verge of tears as she shouted and pulled at his necktie. Tobimaru raised his hands in mock surrender, a gesture reserved only for the true victor. Consider this revenge for saying I was worse than a mosquito. Hopefully you've learned your lesson, O hellish demon who feasts upon the heart of men. You're so petty, you know that. You're supposed to repay insults with insults, you coward. She tightened his necktie around his neck with a yank. The vice president smiled a thuggish grin as if her reaction made his victory that much sweeter. It's no secret you're heading to remedial classics, and I don't have to tell you who teaches Class A during 5th period. Old bat Fujishiro is going to have your head. Yeah, they do like so much work with the tools afforded to them. It's very, very impressive how animated they can make it feel, even though it is just a visual novel. Fujishiro had one of the longest tenures at the school, so it was only natural she would be in charge of teaching the classics. This is where you stop yanking on my tie and haul ass to your classroom. I won't even try to stop you. Am I not merciful? Damn it all, I can't believe you of all people pulled one over on me. Just die already. She choked him even harder with his necktie. As Aoko put words into actions and mercilessly strangled Tobimaru, he saw his life flash before his eyes. Wait, stop. I'm gonna die. It isn't too late. Do you want them to mark you absent? Aoko glanced up at the clock. It was still only 1:07. Her route was from the student council room on the 2nd floor into the Class A classroom on the 3rd floor. If she ran, she could make it. I'll let you live, Tobimaru, this time. Aoko clicked her tongue disappointedly. What disturbed Tobimaru was that it didn't sound like an empty threat. Oh, she's pouting. Be here after school. I actually do have something I need you to do. She was halfway out of the room before she even finished her sentence. Finally all alone, Tobimaru closed the open door, locked it, and slumped into a chair. Never a dull moment with Aozaki around, that's for sure. He leaned back in the creaky folding chair and let out a sigh. The weather outside was beautiful, but the sunlight waned early in the winter. Before long, daylight would fade and the unheated student council room would grow colder and colder. All of the good equipment, like the heater, had ended up in the main office, so he had no choice but to settle in for a chilly afternoon. If only this weather... It looks like I'm on this envelope. If only this weather would last. Shame the forecast predicted more clouds. Gonna get detention. After a somewhat suggestive monologue, Tobimaru's mind drifted. He idly wondered to himself whether Sojiro was an overcast day or a clear day sort of guy, but no answer came. Darkness. Okay. The school day over, Sojiro headed straight to his job, and Slow headed straight to a bottle of water. While the school had approved his jobs at the Chinese restaurant and fish markets in Misaki's shopping district, there was other work he hadn't mentioned to them. And it was not because he knew that they would not complain at him working too many, but rather because of the illicit nature of one job in particular. The hell are you doing, Sojiro? Today, his workplace was a pachinko parlor in front of Yashirogi Station. Sojiro changed out of his school uniform into a black faux tuxedo uniform, then began cleaning the storefront. Yashirogi was the jewel of Misaki City, a busy place with a vast assortment of commercial centers and shopping arcades. Where there were people en masse, en masse. Oh god, this is another word that I've read but never had to say out loud. Where there were people en masse. Where there were a lot of people, there were products made. God damn it. En masse. Okay. I swear I've read words before. A romantic might describe it as a place of joy. A realist would note the free enterprise. And a cynic would point it all out. And a cynic would point out all the garbage. Local authorities had attempted to beautify Yashirogi, but there was one basic tenet of society they could not overcome. Kyle Massey? What? Oh, Kyle Massey. Okay. This establishment was the embodiment of that rule. Businesses such as this attracted the dregs of society, and as such, the front of the parlor had to be cleaned several times a day. Sojiro stood outside in the winter cold, sweeping up used cigarette butts, picking up discarded flyers, and tossing empty cans into the trash. Something about it must have reminded him of mountain life, because he cheerfully finished the job with ease. After making sure the storefront was acceptably clean, he returned to the inside of the parlor where it was nice and warm. Blinding lights, deafening sounds, and the oppressive odor of tobacco assaulted him as he passed through the parlor on his way to the office. Boss, I finished cleaning outside. Good job. I've got something else for you. Could you go check on the customer on machine 40 on the second floor for me? I have a hunch she might be cheating. His boss was a good-natured man who used to work a desk job. The reason he employed someone like Sojiro, even though he was clearly a student, was not because he admired him for working his way through school. It was because all of the other employees were scary and intimidating, and he wanted at least one employee who was not. Fair enough. Are you sure? I still haven't cleaned the toilets. It's fine. She's in the security camera's blind spot, so you have no way of confirming whether she's up to no good. I want you to go because you've got a sixth sense about these things. Go check on her, will you? Hearing that, Sojiro put away his cleaning equipment and headed upstairs. It was a typically large-scale pachinko parlor with 2 floors. It prided itself on being a local establishment that was satisfied with taking the locals' money little by little without resorting to more exploitative means. But regardless of the parlor's intentions, its customers were not so scrupulous. Among them were casual players, professional gamblers, and cheaters looking to profit by exploiting whatever loopholes they could find. I've seen people cheat at pachinko. I've seen kaiji. Of particular prevalence was a device developed in the mid-80s that could disrupt the machine's circuitry from the outside and make it much easier to get what was called a 777 jackpot. As much as the parlor wanted to deny these cheaters entry, it needed to present hard evidence of cheating or risk losing customers. Particularly in the service industry, innocent until proven guilty was not a rule taken lightly. As a result, they could only punish the customers they caught in the act. Such cheaters were known as gotoshi, a slice of society which Sojiro knew nothing about. What he did know was that they were inconveniencing his employer and violating the rules. He went upstairs. The radio and game machines sounds on the second floor were quieter than the cacophony downstairs. There were 100 game machines on the ground floor and over 80 on the second. While there were some empty seats here and there, it was a solid evening turnout. The machine mentioned by the boss was in the center aisle. Sojiro nonchalantly leaned back against the wall and watched the customer hit the jackpot over and over again. Just use Magecraft. Thanks for the ass shot. Dot dot dot. The second he saw her, his gut told him she was not cheating. He still was not sure what made someone a master swindler, but if it meant they were special, this woman certainly fit that description. It was almost as if he could feel the luck emanating from her. As the customers looked on, she silently turned the handle again and again. She appeared older than Sojiro. She wore a green, form-fitting one-piece dress. A pair of stockings covered her legs. Her slender legs were gracefully crossed, and her elegance suited a painting better than a casino. Her dark reddish hair was cut short in a bob, perfectly framing her stylish spectacles and long and crimson lips. Truth be told, something was off about this picturesque beauty, ringing the jackpot over and over again. 4 boxes worth of pachinko balls sat at her feet, and her winning streak showed no sign of abating. She looked bored as her slender porcelain fingers lifted a long cigarette to her lips. Feels like I've seen her somewhere. Just as that thought crossed his mind, her gaze turned toward the wall in Sojiro. Jesus Christ. Suddenly, a chill ran down his spine. He reflexively covered his mouth to keep from shrieking. It's her, the woman from yesterday. Acting on pure instinct, Sojiro took off running. He headed straight downstairs, desperate to not be on the same floor as her. He would have run straight out the door, but for his obligations to his job. Boss, I'm leaving early and the person upstairs is fine. He tried to keep his composure as he spoke, jamming his school uniform into a paper bag as he ran out the door. Parlor, whatever. Cloudy weather brought the shadow of night over Yashirogi as he ran through the shopping arcade toward the station. He shot up the survival instinct is crazy. He shot up the long staircase like an arrow, quickly pulled his train pass from his wallet and passed through the ticket gate. The ticket gate was crowded with people standing around, walking and talking. The station attendant by the automatic ticket machine had an unpleasant look in his face. There was now a familiar, comforting hustle and bustle around him. Just another day in the city. Nothing like what he witnessed the night before. Phew. He could finally breathe again. The momentary rush of relief brought him to an abrupt stop. He nervously turned around. There was no way that dangerous individual could be behind him. Wait, why would I even... He couldn't think of a good reason for why he'd fled so desperately. As far as he could remember, he hadn't even seen the threat's face long enough to form an opinion about her. Sojiro gave himself a good slap on the cheek to pull himself together and made his way down to the platform. Unfortunately, the next train was 10 minutes away, and panicking would do him no favor, so he quietly found an empty seat and sat down. He took another deep breath. He was surrounded by people waiting for the train just like he was, and no sign of anyone pursuing him. His head finally cleared up, and he assured himself that he was overthinking things. Though he was surprised by how heavy his shoulders felt. I'm just tired, I'm sure of it. I know my own body best, after all. Sojiro sighed at his greater than expected fatigue. He had certainly struggled since coming down from the mountains, but in retrospect it could have been worse. Physically, he was probably holding up fine. He was much less confident in his mental state. The city and the mountains could not have been more different. He had been slow to recognize the differences and adapt. Acclimation was simple enough. Humans were nothing if not adaptable. Even without any effort, one would learn to adjust over time. Recognizing the challenges had been the hard part. Actually, it's all been difficult. Sojiro grumbled a complaint he'd never uttered before. To be honest, he was still afraid to wander around town. There were so many things city people took for granted that Sojiro had yet to grasp. It was little wonder that his never-ending chain of surprises would wear on him. Oh, it isn't my body that's tired. That would explain the hallucination. He muttered to himself, then shook his head. That which exists, exists. Such was the way of all things. Tobimaru had called it a hallucination, but Sojiro knew what he saw was real. The city was a magical kingdom compared to the mountains. If there were real magicians secretly living there, that should have been no surprise at all. The thought alone made his legs tremble. It took him a moment longer to realize that they were quivering out of fear. He had feared the unnatural ever since he encountered a wild bear on a mountain path as a child. But this is nothing like that. I cried and screamed my head off back then. Sojiro smiled a little as he recalled his traumatic childhood memory. Anyone would have fainted at the sudden appearance of a growling beast that towered over 6 feet tall. The monster in the movie that Sojiro saw not 2 days ago was the equivalent of a cuddly stuffed animal when compared to the wild mountain creatures. He was reminded that he'd faced far worse before, and his ordeal now was something he could endure. That's right. The problem now is what I heard someone say at the end. What's catch and eliminate supposed to mean? Oh no. At face value, this meaning was obvious. But the implications were simply too frightening to contemplate seriously. Perhaps he had misheard the words, or perhaps the speaker had misspoke. The law of the city means someone will deal out punishment eventually. Hey, Papa Spade, welcome. Even as he said it, the idea didn't feel quite real. It was hard to imagine that it applied to him. Sojiro breathed in and closed his eyes. His vision dimmed, putting the illuminated cityscape out of sight and out of mind. For now, he resolved to put the last night's events behind him. When he opened his eyes, his breathing had calmed. I wonder, what happened to Tobimaru when he tried to hit Aozaki? Straight up witching it this holy night, yeah, true. The question suddenly popped into Sojiro's head. He decided he would ask next time and stood up from his chair. A long streak of light blazed by, announcing the arrival of the next train. Oh. It's chapter 2, I assume. Very interesting, very interesting. A major Fae fan and a major Outgo simp. Hell yeah, bro. Do we have more sub episodes? I think. Okay, no, that's the one that we just did. Okay, so I don't think there's any sub episodes. Cool. It does. All right, we can do a little of chapter 3. We got some time. I'm glad that we made it all the way through chapter 2. Very interesting. Very interesting. Not much has actually happened. I know, but I don't, better to check. It takes like a second. Nights into dreams. Let me tell you how the events of yesterday transpired. On moonless nights, you must never look back. Was it a lesson or was it a warning? In my earbud while bartending? Hell yeah, dude. I hope it goes well. It was so very long ago. At the time, I could not have imagined what my very being would become. One night, it came without warning. I was filled with an anxiety so heightened that it made me want to burst into tears, so I fled to my grandfather's workshop. Oh my god, Lily. Thank you so much. They can be a little quirky at night. True. Thank you so much, Lily. You're being way too generous. I appreciate it. Unlike the grandfather I knew, he smiled and kindly placed his hand upon my head. Yes, the Red Death follows your every step. Jesus. Rather than consoling me, he sent me home with only those haunting words. That night, I was certain that I sensed a shadow lurking behind me. Something or someone was watching me from afar. Then, little by little, year by year, it drew closer. Eventually, the presence that once felt like a spot on the horizon grew so close that I could feel its breath down the base of my neck. Of course, it was all in my mind. When I turned around, nobody was there. But that night marked the beginning. In hindsight, I later understood that the indescribable anxiety I felt was the dread of certain death. I have to do the goddamn. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed. How much time has passed since that night? It lingered deep in the recesses of my mind where childhood memories are kept. A faded storybook-esque memory. On dark nights, I still hear the faint echo of my grandfather's words. But no matter how strong the wind may howl, or how entrancing the song of the girl next to me, I could never bury his ominous words completely. It's here. The girl beside me said. Hellas's inflectionless voice spoke volumes of her role as the bystander. Sing it. No. Not 2 hours into a stream, bro. Not 2 hours into reading. I'm sorry. That night there was only me and her. It was the night I would mark as the birth of who I am today. For what should have been quite the memorable night, it sure wasn't a promising start. Dense clouds blocked the starlight above like an umbrella. It's like Toradora if they also had magic. Strong wind tore through the sky, carrying the heavy clouds with it. Also, if Taiga was not short. The hands on the clock in the middle of the park pointed skyward, as if reaching for the moon. Unfortunately for them, tonight there was no moon to point at. The winter air grew fiercer as the night wore on. A bunch of side gigs, cool. Inhaling felt as though it would freeze me from the inside. The air chilled me to the bone, threatening to pass up my spine directly to my brain, to prevent my mind from being paralyzed, and to prevent my fingertips from becoming stone. I sparked a fire using my internal rhythm and emotion. I'm transferring tactile feedback to you. Good luck. Stand over there and the engraved will-o-wisp will ignites. I responded to Alice with a nod. And then, for just a moment, I saw the ground. My legs quivered ever so faintly. I told myself they were shaking from the cold, but I wasn't so sure. In reality, they may have not been numbed by the cold, but by fear. I breathed a sigh of relief. My humanity must still be intact if my emotions are still present. Before I could sink into a pool of my own sentimentality, the sensations from the bounded field flowed from Alice into me. A transparent wall covered the entire park. An unrecognizable carpet rooted deep under the earth. Alice Kuonji's chants of the Mother Goose fairy tales permeated the night. The sensations became one with my body. I felt goosebumps on my quivering right arm. Someone had trespassed. The goosebumps crept up my right arm like ants, and slowly but surely made inroads for my heart. Holding back the desire to drive them out, I waited for them to reach a certain definitive position. A moonless night. The park's quaint streetlights were not enough to lift the darkness. The ants came to a stop. Far, far from my right arm, they had reached my very heart. Even without the aid of my sense of sight, I could see the intruder lurking in the darkness. To starboard, in the bushes about 30 steps back, on all fours, it was beckoning with its right hand. There. The enemy's movements and my perception of it were in lockstep. I spun around. What the oh, okay, so that's... I thought that was Alcozar. The enemy's arm stretched out like a spear. A lethal weapon aimed at the back of my head brushed my hair at breakneck speed. With the omniscient awareness granted by Alice's ward, I managed to avoid it by the skin of my teeth. My hair fanned through the air from the violence of the attack. The strike grazed my cheek, and I felt a small, sharp pain. It felt like the kiss of death. Pain sound effect. Ow. I switched the flow of my body's blood to a different cycle. The blood running through my veins at a few feet per second transmuted into an imaginary element. My body became a single circuit, and my heart transformed into a completely different engine. Within me stirred an unknowable amount of measured heat, motion of immeasurable heat. Something mystic yet untapped by humankind that made me who I am. It was the fire of life behind all miracles and fables. What we mages call magical energy. Connecting. I turned around, set the enemy in my sight, and held up one hand. My arm was the agent of my will. My lack of experience meant my magecraft would only be possible with the use of vocalizations and gestures. Magical formula were engraved all over the park. All I had to do was ignite them. I needed to direct the flow of magical energy within my body into each formula. Typically, a mage acts as a conduit. Whether wired or wireless, the mage simply pours magical energy into the formula. Releasing this energy in the form of a projectile, stream, or any number of other methods would usually suffice, but in my case, it was the feeling of my limbs whipping out. Burn! I fought speed with speed. The enemy's arms, extended 10 feet forward, became engulfed in flames. It was nighttime at the park, the scene reminiscent of a campfire, but one in which the center of the flames contained a humanoid figure wriggling like a shadow puppet. The flames subsided just as unnaturally as it had ignited. No crackling, no burning smell. You can have the bounded field back. I'll check the remains. After telling this to Alice, I head towards the motionless figure. I killed it. I killed it. I killed it. Regardless of who my opponent was, I just took someone's life. My throat parched. I swallowed the truth that without this sense of reality, I would have been helpless. So hard and bitter, impossible to swallow, but I tried to anyway. I was unnervingly calm. My heart pounded and my breath felt heavy, but my mind was nonetheless calm. By the time I realized that the charged remains were already in front of me. Bracing for a counterattack, I carefully examined the corpse. Everything seemed fine. This body lying slumped to the ground was nothing but ash. Huh? But something wasn't right. To begin with, its remains didn't smell organic. Not willing to believe my hunch, I took a closer look at the corpse's face. All that greeted me was the featureless white face of a mannequin. Damn it, they got us again. Screaming, I kicked the mannequin. The corpse crumpled to ash and disappeared with the wind. No, this was no corpse, this was just a puppet, and for all our efforts to lure the master out, they had once again been tripped by a familiar. My debut, my first test out in the open, would be postponed for another day. Will I ever pass this test? What? At that moment, I suddenly noticed something familiar in the corner of my eye. Something seemed strange about the slide on the other end of the park. It appeared as though its shadow were larger than it should be. Also, thank you now. Welcome. I'm feeling okay now. Yeah. I was just, I was not going to be very entertaining if I streamed on Thursday. That's why I didn't stream on Thursday. But thank you. I appreciate it. Was I still drunk on the high of battle? It took me a second to realize what it was. Who's there? Calling out was a mistake. Startled by my voice, the figure wearing a familiar high school uniform took a step back, and then it broke into a sprint. Like someone running for their life. Or should I say he was doing exactly that. After him, we've been spotted. In a rush, I shouted to my partner, but she hadn't even noticed the third party's presence in the first place. Though it wasn't as if I could move by myself, embarrassingly, the fight had taken more out of me than I would have liked.
ダメ逃げられる
No, he'll get
捕まっ
away.
て始末しないと
We need to catch him and eliminate him. Whoa, dude. There's no time for niceties. For us, being seen here was a matter of life and death.
待ってこの
Wait, get back here, you. Shaking off the numbness in my legs, I made for the park's exit. I had to admire his escape. A witness, party to the entire night's proceeding, had disappeared into the darkness of the residential districts without a trace.
ああもう
Why the hell didn't I sense him in the
あいつの
field?
感触なんてなかったのに
Complaining to myself wouldn't bring back the figure in uniform. Bitter at my own incompetence, I gave up the chase. Though temporary, the park had become Alice's woods. For anyone within a few feet of the park, other parkgoers' identifiable features and voices became murky, like the stuff of fairy tales. Hello, welcome. Tonight's proceedings may have had a witness, but if our identities were still hidden, then this was still a chance.
あの背中
That looked like a male from behind. I returned to the park. That uniform was without a doubt from my high school. That was clue enough. If he was a schoolmate of mine, I had plenty of methods to flesh him out.
にしても
It's one thing after
どうしてこ
another.
う問題ばっかり増えていくんだ
Amidst my grumbling, I set my priorities straight. Before some strange rumors spread, I needed to seal the witness's mouth shut. That was the highest priority, quickly and without mercy. Looking up, I saw Alice's previously distant figure. Though she was in much trouble as I was, with her existence as a mage also exposed, she had but one thing to say.
これは
This means trouble. Her statue-like figure staring into the darkness seemed more expressionless than calm. I was pissed off. Her inscrutable voice resembled the moonless night so much it made me angry. Whoa, wait, that was all of chapter 3? Damn, that was really short. Okay, well now we know what Sojiro is talking about, obviously. And now do we have side episodes? We don't. Okay. I just want to keep checking. I don't want to miss it. So we are coming up right on 2 hours, and we've actually managed to get through 2 chapters. Crazy. So I think that now makes as much time as any to take a break. Really chill vibes. Hey, thank you. I'm glad that you like them. So yeah, I think now it makes makes much sense. Dude, I can't even talk. My brain is shutting down. I think it makes sense to take a break here for now. That's what I'm trying to say. Because obviously I'm also starting to mess up my reading. I'm just gonna keep making more mistakes. I got through 2 whole chapters, right? It's crazy. Thank you all for coming. The next couple will be quite long. All right, that'll make up for it. Yeah, thanks for coming. There was a black book there. That was the one that we just read. So this was 1, this was 1.5, this was 2, this was 3. I will see you all on Tuesday, most likely. Also look forward to another long video later this week. Have a good one. Thank you all for stopping by. Have a good rest of your weekends. Bye bye, everyone. My apologies to the people that just got here. Oh, thank you, Lily. You're too kind. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your shift. Spada or Spade. God, I can't read. I thought it was Spada. I'm a silly guy.